Even if you don't agree with Rob Reiner politically, there was no reason for his statement. I thought that statement was absolutely completely below the office of the President of the United States, classless, and it was just wrong.
Well, believe it or not, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is not the only Republican lawmaker who is condemning President Donald Trump over his reaction to the gruesome murders of Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle. Tragic murder that took place. Their own son is alleged to have killed them. And Cenk, before I give you some of the details and what Trump said, what are your 2 cents?
So I think this story is relevant for you understanding how little empathy the president of the United States has, and it's a very dangerous thing. But maybe even more important politically is the Republicans abandoning him over and over again. I'm going to give you more examples than this, but they're starting to realize this is a sinking ship.
So here's what Trump wrote on Monday after news broke that the Reiners had been murdered by their own son. Just absolutely tragic. You should be able to put politics aside, but I guess not. He said a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and inaccurate affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. They were murdered by their son, who has been struggling with drug addiction. Something that Trump is pretending like he cares about as he drags the United States into a war with Venezuela. But let me continue with the rest of his statement. He said of Reiner, he was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. He's disgusting. He's just and you want to talk about like paranoia reaching new heights. Like he still won't shut up about how the 2020 election was allegedly stolen from him. Like take a look in the mirror, bozo. Now that statement was obviously gross and narcissistic, but what made things even worse was, again, the nature of how Reiner and his wife died. So Nick Reiner, the 32-year-old son of the couple, was arrested earlier this week and was formally charged yesterday with 2 counts of first-degree murder. And while the details were still limited when Trump made that post, there were enough details to know that this was in fact a gruesome attack on a beloved film icon. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie were 2 of the first people in the Republican side of the aisle who condemned Trump about the post. Massie said, regardless of how you felt about Rob Reiner, this is inappropriate and disrespectful discourse about a man who was just brutally murdered. I guess my elected GOP colleagues, the VP, the White House staff, will just ignore it because they're afraid. I challenge anyone to defend it. And I do want to hear a little more from Congresswoman Greene from her CNN appearance last night, because in this interview, she makes clear that she's not a cardboard cutout of Trump. Take a look.
MAGA faithful reacted big time, and they called it out. It's all over social media. People, his supporters, including myself, we didn't appreciate hearing the president, who himself was shot, and after Charlie Kirk's horrific murder, we didn't appreciate, even if you don't agree with Rob Reiner politically, there was no reason for his statement to be the statement that he made.
Yeah, when he says, I mean, it was in the immediate aftermath of us finding out about Rob Reiner, and obviously now his son has been taken into custody. You've said that his murder was not about politics or political enemies. The president called him bad for our country and said he was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned.
I thought that statement was absolutely completely below the office of the President of the United States, classless, and it was just wrong.
And while other conservatives also condemn Trump, that includes Jenna Ellis, Robbie Starbuck. I don't even know who Robbie Starbuck is, but yeah, Robbie Starbuck, Riley Gaines, like a bunch of right wingers did condemn Trump. There were a few people who decided to join Trump in the disgusting commentary. I want to skip ahead to the last graphic here. Of course, Laura Loomer never misses an opportunity to show us how disgusting she really is. She says that Rob Reiner was a loser. Naturally, his son was also a loser and he got addicted to drugs and allegedly murdered his parents. I got news for you, Laura Loomer. A lot of Americans are struggling with addiction, and that doesn't make them bad people. It means that they need help, they need compassion. Yeah, in some cases, they might need tough love. But like calling people who are struggling with addiction losers is so disgusting, and making light of this is also disgusting. Finally, she says, looks like Rob should have spent more time parenting and less time spreading Russia conspiracy hoaxes about President Trump. I stand with President Trump. Laura Loomer's a traitor to the country, doesn't give a damn about this country, spends all of her time campaigning on behalf of Israel. And like the fact that she has any influence over the Trump administration is like one of the biggest injustices to the American people. But anyway, Cenk, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so look, this is as ugly as it gets. And it's so ugly that it's almost impossible for anyone to defend it, although Greg Gutfeld gave it a try. And so he's lost a lot of Republicans on this because they just can't stomach saying that the guy who was brutally murdered by his son is somehow the bad guy because he once criticized Trump. Trump has no bounds of decency. Guys, do you get it? I know 98% of you get it, but like if Trump can't have empathy for Rob Reiner in this situation and his wife, can he have empathy for anyone?
No.
Anyone at all?
No, he's sociopathic.
And so when a so-called leader doesn't have empathy for any of the people he is leading, that means we're all in a lot of trouble because he doesn't care about us. And unfortunately, these politicians, almost all of them don't care about us, but Trump always takes it to another level. But now, politically, the more relevant part of this is, and Marjorie Taylor Greene pointed this out in her interview too.
Don't forget, Noble Mobile is saving you a ton of money. So a lot of people are signing up now and beginning to realize, what the hell, why am I paying so much to Verizon and AT&T? So your bill's only $50 a month, but it can actually be less because they give you money back if you don't use your data. So if you're paying more than $50, there's no reason to not switch. It's crazy not to switch because same phone, same number, same contacts, literally nothing changes. TYT.com/switch, TYT.com/switch. All right, we'll be right back.
The Indiana Republicans broke with Donald Trump. Today we saw the 4 Republicans in the House break with their party to say that we should vote on the Obamacare subsidies. And almost every Republican's come out to condemn him on the Rob Reiner's comments. The dam is breaking, and that's literally what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. The dam is breaking. And today, I mean, to give you a sense of the outer edges of the dam, or maybe in their case for the right wing, they may be the inner edges of the dam. I don't know. Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes got together to kvetch about Trump, and they were like, "No, and they said his attacks against Marjorie Taylor Greene are unhinged, don't make any sense. Marjorie Taylor Greene is as true right winger as it gets in the country." And Joe's like, well, maybe he'll turn around, but he's got to turn around because this is heading to disaster. And Fuentes was like, no, he's done. He's a bad guy. And so it's not to say we agree with Fuentes and Jones. It's to tell you that the dam is breaking everywhere on the right wing, and Trump can't contain it. And the more unpopular he gets, Anna, and you're seeing it in the polling now, he's as unpopular as Biden ever was and dropping. And he's as unpopular as he has ever been and dropping, the more people feel emboldened to oppose him. And that's what we're starting to see everywhere now.
I think you're absolutely right about that. And, I think Susie Wiles sees it too, which is why she wants him to stop focusing on, foreign affairs and focus on domestic issues. But he can't help himself. He's going to prioritize the highest bidder.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.